Hey Star Warriors, Star Geek here, and welcome to the 14th episode of Star Wars Factor Beam, the series where I tell you 5 Star Wars facts that you just can't pull away from. Each episode is centered around a certain character, film, or category. In today's episode, the character under lockdown in the cell block level of the Fact Star is politician and Queen of Naboo, Padme Amidala. Let's hop right into it with fact number 1. Padme's wedding dress scene in episode 2 was made, in part, from an antique Italian bedspread. I recently visited the Experience Music Project, or EMP, in Seattle, to see the world premiere of the Star Wars and the Power of Costume exhibit. I'll be posting a separate video on this topic on the channel soon, but for now, I can tell you that it was incredible. The exhibit was filled with costumes from every film, but the majority of them were Padme's breathtaking gowns and outfits. When creating the costumes for the prequels, design teams took inspiration from history and extravagant material. When making Padme's wedding gown, the costume designers found an old Italian bedspread and used part of it for the lace on Padme's gown. It's meticulously detailed, making the senator's dress stand out very nicely against the waters of Naboo. Fact number 2. Keira Knightley didn't know what was going on when filming episode 1. In case you were unaware, Keira Knightley played Padme's servant and loyal decoy, Sabe. She got the part due to her similar appearance to Natalie Portman, but she never really knew who she was playing. The script was kept so secretive that she had no idea what was going on half of the time during production. All she knew was that she was there standing next to someone else in the exact same costume, and then they would occasionally throw her in for a few scenes to act as Padme's double. They even used her for some wide shots when Natalie Portman felt like going home early.
I am Queen Amidala. This is my decoy, my protection, my loyal bodyguard.
Another fun thing to look at is how Sabe made Padme do unglamorous tasks when they had switched roles, such as cleaning R2-D2.
Padme, clean this droid up as best you can. It deserves our gratitude.
Fact number 3. Padme didn't die from a broken heart. This is less of a fact and more of a theory. You all know Padme's fate in episode 3. After learning that Anakin had truly turned to the dark side, Padme lost the will to live, dying shortly after childbirth. At least, that is what was intended, but many unsatisfied Star Wars fans have tried to rationalize this unworthy death. Some say that she actually died from Anakin's force choke, but just a few seconds without any air isn't going to cause any internal damages, and the medical droids couldn't find anything wrong with her medical-wise, so that can't be it. Others have recently started to theorize that Padme was actually killed in a more sinister way. Let's think back to the best scene the prequels have to offer, Palpatine and Anakin in the Opera House. Darth Plagueis the Wise is the topic of discussion in the Chancellor's Tale. Palpatine clearly depicts the Sith ability to create and destroy life with the snap of their fingers. So is Padme's death the doing of the Emperor? He obviously wanted her to be out of the picture, so could it be him who killed her off? He easily could have saved her from death, as he describes in the Opera House scene, so he must have known of her death, possibly being the cause. It's just a theory, but it's a very strong and interesting one that I have recently adopted into my own beliefs. Take it or leave it, I don't think that Padme died of a broken heart.
It seems in your anger, you killed her.
Fact number 4. In a deleted scene, we see Padme's childhood home and her family. I want to do a separate video on deleted scenes and bloopers, but this is an interesting piece of Padme's life that was erased from Star Wars history. They spend quite a while at the house, conversing with her family and taking a tour around her room. We learn some backstory on her dealings off-planet and get to know her family. These are 3 characters that we finally get to meet, and while the acting is pretty bad and it really slows down the plot, it's nice to see what didn't make the final cut. Another fabled scene that was erased from the history books is one featuring 3PO and Padme at the Lars homestead. We've never seen any actual footage of this scene, but Anthony Daniels has gone into deep description of the happenings. Here's his own description of the events at the New York City Comic-Con.
There was a wonderful scene with Padme in the garage at night, and 3PO is sitting there, and Padme walks in. Let's lower the lights a little, let's get some mood, let's get some light. Feel good. And beautiful, beautiful. And 3PO is sitting there, and Padme says, "Oh, 3PO, can't you sleep either?" "I don't actually sleep, I just turn off for a while." "Are you happy here, 3PO?" "Well, I'm not unhappy. I mean, everyone here is very nice, but it's very difficult being like this." "Like what, 3PO?" "Well, naked, if you'll pardon the expression." And 3PO went on to explain that young Anakin hadn't had time to finish the coverings before he had to go away and be a Jedi. But I'm sure he'll return one day. But you know, for the first time you saw how difficult it was for somebody who was graced in protocol and etiquette to be walking around with his parts hanging out. And suddenly you felt the pathos of his character. And of course, being a George Lucas movie, Padme said, "But 3PO, there's a box of quartz right here." My, I never noticed. And the end of the scene was Padme putting the chest on 3PO. And then we went away and did something else, and then we came back and she was putting the face on 3PO. And suddenly, he became the character that we all know. And he was so happy, and Uncle Roo and Uncle Owen came in, and everybody was really thrilled that 3PO was finally complete. And then George looked at the storyline and went, "Nah, I haven't got time for this. We gotta go out killing sand people immediately." And that's what we did, so you will never ever get to see it.
And finally, fact number 5. Harvard-educated Natalie Portman thinks that Star Wars destroyed her career. After filming the prequel trilogy, everyone knew Natalie Portman as the native Naboo queen, Padme Amidala. Unfortunately for her, everyone knew her for that one role, and when she decided to move on from Star Wars and keep her acting career going, no one wanted her in their film. Natalie Portman told NY Magazine, "Star Wars had come out around the time of Seagull, and everyone thought I was a horrible actress. I was in the biggest grossing movie of the decade, and no director wanted to work with me." The Seagull was a play by Mike Nichols, who worked with Natalie Portman on the project and had recommended her to all of his fellow directors. Unfortunately, they all just passed her on to their subordinates. This loop went on for a very long time, until she was passed on to the Wachowski siblings, who cast her in the 2006 film, V for Vendetta. Her career has skyrocketed since then, and now has no trouble getting any acting gigs. She won the Academy Award as well as the Golden Globe Award and a BAFTA as the 2010 Best Actress in a Leading Role for her part in Black Swan. So much for her acting career being ruined.
So this is how liberty dies. With thunderous applause.
That wraps up episode 14 of Star Wars Factor Beam. Subscribe to Star Geek for weekly Star Wars content. Did you learn anything about the Italian decoy, Natalie Portman? If so, put it in the comments below. You can go check out my Facebook page, linked in the description below, as it really helps me out when you like my page. If you go over to the page, you will get daily news on Star Wars Episode 7, Star Geek episodes, memes, and even Padme. Also go and check out my Twitter account, @StarGeekYT, for tons of quick updates. Try clicking on the screen to subscribe, and click on the link to the left for my last video, my top 10 best Star Wars songs. You can also click on the right to watch the last episode of Star Wars Factor Beam, in this case, Facts on Qui-Gon Jinn. All links are in the description below. Don't forget to like the video, and comment if you learned something new today about Padme Amidala. Until we meet again in a galaxy far, far away, this has been Star Geek.
You're breaking my heart. You're going down a path I can't follow.
Commence primary ignition.